From script to screen, every film is brought to life by visionary creatives and executives, all sharing one mission: to captivate the audience. Hosted by award-winning movie strategist Kevin Goetz, our podcast, Don't Kill the Messenger, offers a filmmaking masterclass through intimate conversations with Hollywood's most influential voices. And now, your host, Kevin Goetz.
Put your seatbelts on, listeners. Boy, do I have an enormous treat for you today. My guest is one of only a handful of people still living who was part of the original Hollywood studio system, a time when movie stars were shaped, careers were built over decades, and cinema itself was being defined. Over a career that spans 8 decades, he's played soldiers, cowboys, playboys, thieves, millionaires, and everything in between. He's appeared in dramas, westerns, war films, musicals, and comedies, including The Longest Day, A Kiss Before Dying, Midway, The Pink Panther, The Towering Inferno, and decades later, a pop culture renaissance as number 2 in the Austin Powers films. After becoming a true movie star, he did something remarkably rare for his generation. He successfully transitioned to television, redefining what a long, evolving career in Hollywood could look like, starring in not 1, not 2, but 3 television series: It Takes a Thief, Switch, and Heart to Heart, and later enjoying recurring roles for a whole new generation on 2.5 Men and NCIS. His life off-screen has been just as full. Married twice to legendary Natalie Wood, to Marion Marshall, and for nearly 4 decades now to the extraordinary and brilliant Jill St. John. Along the way, he formed friendships with some of the greatest legends ever to grace the screen: Spencer Tracy, Fred Astaire, James Cagney, Clark Gable, Cary Grant, David Niven, Bette Davis, and Barbara Stanwyck. And tomorrow, incredibly, our guest and my friend turns 96 years young. Of course, I am talking about one of Hollywood's enduring icons, Robert Wagner. RJ, my dear, dear friend, that is the longest intro I have ever done. You and Jill have been at Neil's and my home for the last week celebrating your marvelous milestone, but it is an absolute privilege to have you here on my show today. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. And what an introduction. I never had an introduction like that before.
I can't imagine that's true.
No, that's the best I've ever had.
Wow. Oh,
really?
Well, that's something. Oh, boy. This is a very strange interview because I know so much about you. We have become great friends. First, call out to my husband, Neil. Without Neil, we wouldn't be sitting here because Neil and your daughter, Katie, became best friends. She brought you into our lives, and now over the course of several years, we forged our own very deep friendship. I have to tell you that more than anything, more than all of those credits, more than the fact that I have to pinch myself that I'm in the presence of R.J. Wagner, is the fact that you're one of the most decent and caring humans I have ever met, and it is an honor to know you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, how did it start? How the hell did a little pisher from Michigan want to become what you became? Did you dream of this as a boy back then in the Midwest?
Well, I just loved the movies. I wanted to be an actor, and I've been very fortunate, Kevin, because, you know, what I wanted to do and be, it worked out for me. I was just very, very fortunate.
You wanted to be an actor since you were a little boy?
Yeah, I was overwhelmed by the movies.
First movie you saw, do you remember?
I think it was Marie Antoinette. And then I met Norma Shearer. I went to school with her son.
Okay, this blows my mind because, first of all, RJ's written several books. Oh, did I not mention he was an author also? I mean,
you mentioned everything, believe me. You were great.
But your second book, which Neil is producing a documentary of with your godson, Adam Stork, and Robin Bliley, is about the kind of construct of the early days in Hollywood.
Yes, that's right.
The architecture, the influences, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, I want to go back to you coming here. You see Marie Antoinette, later to meet the Norma Shearer. Your father got a job here, did he not?
Well, he came out here to retire. He was in the automobile business in Michigan. And they went to Florida first and then Arizona, and then they decided on California, which was a big break for me because it put me in proximity with a lot of people, a lot of motion picture people, kids. I went to school with Irving Thalberg Jr., and I was a boarder. And so on the weekends, boarders could go to families' homes. And I was invited to go to Irving's home. And Irving Thalberg was married to Norma Shearer. And I was kind of amazed because I thought I was going to be with Marie Antoinette. But she was so nice to me.
Was it like a normal house in the Thalberg house?
No, they had a home at the beach, one of those beach houses that are right on Santa Monica Beach.
Oh.
It was terrific. And she was wonderful to me later on in life, too.
Did your friend become part of the movie business?
Yeah, he was involved in the motion picture industry, yeah.
When do you decide that you want to be a star? And I know the answer to the story because you were a golf caddy.
Yeah, well, I became a caddy because all the caddies went to war.
So we're talking in the early 40s.
Yeah, so the kids, we all became loopers. We became caddies. Loop was 18 holes. And I was a caddy there, and Clark Gable was playing golf at the Bel Air Country Club, and I was starstruck to see him. Cary Grant was there, Fred Astaire, Randolph Scott. And you're talking about when I saw them all walk down the fairway? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, that was really something. You can imagine what that was like, Kevin.
I can't, actually. I get verklempt when I hear that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, hold on. Before we go on, give me a good oi.
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 I mean,
that was an oi, believe me.
That was an oi. So you're 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah, and I see the four of them, and I don't know, Kevin. It's like it's in the stars someplace, or look what happened to me with those four men. I became very close with Cary Grant. Fred Astaire, I played his son in It Takes a Thief.
Well, you were also friends with his son at school.
Yeah, and Gable set me up to go to MGM. When I wanted to be an actor, I told him. And Randolph Scott, he was just a wonderful man to me. He was great. And I got to know all of them.
It's so crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
It's a divine intervention.
I think you're right.
Not to mention that you weren't half bad looking.
Well,
I mean, Neil has pictures of you when you were just starting, I think even before you were at Fox. And I just look at this young boy, and he's kind of a brooder, and he's beautiful, and it's like you had the makings of it.
In those days, all the studios had young contract players, and they would groom them in the hopes that they would become a star and be a valuable asset to the studios. And I got under contract to Fox, and they made me a star. I mean, they did everything.
How did they do it?
Oh, fan magazines, tours, small parts in big movies.
Acting classes.
Acting classes,
Who was your
dancing
Who was
class.
your acting coach?
A woman by the name of Helena Sorrell.
But also Sanford Meisner.
Yes.
Because, I studied the Meisner technique, and so I always said, I have something in common with Arte.
You studied with him.
I studied with Catherine Gately and William Esper, who was his protege.
Uh-huh.
But I remember Sandy, at the time I knew him, he had a voice box because he had
Yes.
throat cancer or something.
Yeah.
And he talked he had that thing, the machine thing, and he would talk like that,
Well, that's a very good impersonation.
So when you were under contract, what was a typical week for you at the studio? Did they give you a dressing room right off the bat?
Yeah, I had a small dressing room there, but you had everything there available.
Well, that's what I mean. So you had a place to go in between your classes and between your screen tests.
Oh, yeah.
You were known as the screen test guy.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, that means that I was available to do screen tests with all the young actresses that came in. And, I did Marilyn Monroe's 2 tests. And that's when I first met her. She was, by the way, a wonderful person.
Was she?
Oh, yeah.
But you sensed the vulnerability and that insane sexuality coming through?
Oh, yeah.
What did she test for?
We were in a movie together called Let's Make It Legal with Claudette Colbert. I didn't have any scenes with her, but she was in it. But I liked her very much. She was a very, very nice person. Good sense of humor.
When you started the studio, who were some of the stars under contract?
Well, Tyrone Power.
Oh, that little talent.
Yeah, Gene Tierney.
Gene Tierney, Jesus.
And Alice Faye was at the studio.
She was a
then.
huge star.
Yeah, big time.
Wasn't Betty Grable, too?
Betty Grable, she was so nice. I liked her so much. She had a lot of fun with her.
Was there anyone you didn't like?
Oh, no.
It was a family, as you said.
It was all family.
So when you get to work, would they give you the day before kind of your schedule? Like, did you have a handler at the studio?
Well, I had one person who took care of me there when I go on tours and watched over me all the time was a man called Bill Smith. And Bill Smith was married to Ethel Merman.
Oh, that had to be something.
Yeah, that was...
Bill, go over that. Has no business like
show business.
My God. You're talking about every legend. I'm just like speechless. And those listeners who are cinephiles or anyone who loves old Hollywood is going to just go nuts to hear this because you begin to feel like you were really there. Before you got to Fox, you didn't just get to Fox. You had some auditions.
Oh, I auditioned at every studio, yeah. Every studio had a young contract players list.
But like an open call, RJ?
No, you made arrangements to get interviewed by people.
Do you mean you had an agent?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, famous artists, and they...
Famous artists, and they would...
set up an interview with the people that were running the casting, and they were responsible for who they would choose to be in their classes. And I read for Paramount, for Columbia, MGM, Warner.
Didn't get any of those.
Well, they didn't respond to me too much, but Fox did. And Helena Sorrell, she was really very, very nice to me and brought me in. And I understand that Zanuck would run the films at night. And
of all the talent from the day.
Yeah. Well,
from the audition.
And I did the screen tests, and then they'd run it at night. And she was there, and he looked at it, and he said, I don't know. She said, just take a look at it again and watch this. And he did, and he said, well, Elena, if you think he's right, then we'll take him. So I was signed for $75 a week.
$75 a week.
$55 take home.
God.
But I was in the movies, and it was great.
Was that enough to get an apartment?
Oh, yeah.
We have roommates.
No, I didn't. I was living at home then, and then I moved out and got an apartment on Devon Avenue, right off of Beverly Glen. I was in the movies, and that was it. You know?
God, the fact that you love it as much as you do is something, again, I relate to you, because all I wanted since I'm a little boy was to be in show business.
Yeah, you know what it's like.
Oh, do
you
I?
and I have the same feelings about that.
Yeah, and we both have this passion and love for it. Let's talk about, again, I glossed over this, but I really want to understand something. What I don't understand for young people coming into the studio is, did they give you like a schedule of what you were going to do for the week, for the day before, like a call sheet?
No, they didn't, but you had everything available to you. We had classes.
How long did it take for them to put you into a picture?
Not long.
Do you remember your first one?
I was working as an extra and doing these interviews. It was luck.
Do you remember Zanuck?
Oh, sure.
Do you remember getting his attention?
Oh, yes. And he put me in a film that really changed my whole career.
Which one?
With a Song in My Heart with Susan Hayward. And I played that shell-shocked soldier, you know. And I said, Mr. Zanuck, I don't have any lines. And he said, well, I think people will come out of the theater and they'll say, who was that guy? And that's what they did. And that's what really set me off.
He really had a good eye, didn't he?
I owe him a great deal because he made my life happen.
Were you there when his son Dick was brought on?
No, I wasn't. That was later.
It came on like much later in the 60s.
Yes, but I knew Dickie. I used to walk him on the beach when he was a little boy. He was a very nice man, very nice man. He was taken from us too young, way too young.
I knew Dick, and he was fantastic and very, very kind to me.
And he was very talented.
Yeah, he really was. He, by sheer will, had the movie Driving Miss Daisy made.
Uh-huh.
He and Lily got rejections from everyone, but they had such tenacity, they finally got it made, which I thought was...
Wonderful movie.
Was just great. I wanted to do a little bit of a fun little exercise here where I would mention a name of someone and sort of get your feelings about them. and what they did for you. Because I know it's a little bit of a loaded question, or these questions, but Spencer Tracy.
Spencer Tracy, what he did for me?
Yeah.
Well, I was in Broken Lance, directed by Eddie Dmytryk, and I played his son, and I owe him so much. He asked for me to be in the picture called The Mountain, which Eddie Dmytryk directed, and he gave me co-star billing above the title.
He gave you co-star billing above the title.
So that took me out of the war movies, and there were a lot of very good actors and very attractive guys around then, and he lifted me out of that. I'm forever grateful to him for that, and I got to know him quite well. I was a pallbearer at his funeral.
Oh,
and
Lord.
I really liked him so much.
Did you know Katharine Hepburn well?
I didn't know her well, but I knew her and spent some time with her in New York and in Hollywood. She was terrific, and my daughter, Katie, is named after her.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's a Katharine.
Now, is it true that Clark Gable got you your SAG card?
No, Bill Wellman put me in a movie called The Happy Years, and I was in the picture, and then from that I could join the Screen Actors Guild, and Randolph Scott signed the card for me. That's what started me off, you know.
Fred Astaire, you would also go home to his place when you were in boarding school.
Yes, his son went to the same school I did.
And you guys were buddies.
Yeah, and Kevin, I remember Fred Astaire picking me up at school because the boarders could go, as I told you before, to private homes on the weekends. And I remember him picking me up and putting me in the back seat of his car and driving me. Now, I didn't know who Fred Astaire was. I just knew him. He was so kind and such a wonderful man to me.
He didn't dance all around the house when he got home.
I'll tell you what he did do one time, which was incredible. We were in Rome doing It Takes a Thief, and we went to lunch. Fred and I went to lunch, and we came back, and there was this big ballroom at this estate where we were shooting on the location. And when we came in, we walked in. I walked in with him, and the crew was going, Fred, 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 Fred. And he started to dance. And he danced around this ballroom, kicked a couple of columns, you know, did the whole thing. Oh, it was fantastic. It was unbelievable.
What a memory.
Oh, it was great.
And what I love is that the guy you didn't know becomes the father of your friend, who turns out to be, of course, Fred Astaire. And then years later, you approach him to be your dad on your television show, and he said yes.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was really very close with Fred. The great F.A.
How about Cary Grant?
Cary Grant, yeah. That's
you
another
do a good
one.
Impersonation.
Yes. I really liked him so much. And he gave me some really good advice. I went to Cary and I said, I've got this chance to do this wonderful character. And he said, well, just do you. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, just play you. Don't try to do anybody else. I went to him when I did Thief, because it takes a thief to catch a thief. That's what they were trying to get, to put it all together, you know. Wasserman did that.
Wasserman got you into television, did he not?
Yes, he did, yeah. With that, I went up to the office and he said, I want you to be in television. I want you to be in this TV guide every week. He said, I think this is your medium. I think this is right for you. I said, yeah, but Lew, Jesus, I know.
At that time, television was like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, and I was in the movies. He said, I don't know. He said, well, look, I want you to read the script, and then I want you to meet the man who wrote it and created it, Roland Kibbe. So I met Kibbe, and we started talking about it, and he said, I think you'd be great in this, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and one thing led to another, and I did it, and it was a hit.
It also turned you into, in a way, a man, because you were kind of like the hot guy. And suddenly, and I know Marion had some great styling advice and kind of pushed you into that more debonair.
Yes, that's true.
And that was in Europe, right?
Yeah, we did a lot of shows in Europe. But it started at Universal, at the studio, on the lot. We did that. Senta Berger was in it, and she was so hot and wonderful. And we had Joe Lewis, and they gave me everything. They really set it up perfectly.
Another man you had a lot of affection for was Jimmy Cagney.
I did, very much.
What was it about Cagney that was so great? I mean, from a spectator standpoint, I can tell you what was so great, but as a friend, what made him special?
I met Jimmy Cagney before I worked with him in a film, and I used to jog his horses. He had trotters, and I was into horses pretty heavily, and I used to jog his horses for him, and he was one of the most marvelous men. And I died in his arms in a John Ford movie. That was a big break. And I thought, oh my God, here I am with Jimmy Cagney. I was thrilled. You can imagine, Kevin.
I just look at you going, God damn.
Boy, it was thrilling. And he was great to me.
When we come back, I want to unpack that story, talk about some of the female stars, and so many other things. We'll be back in a moment. Listeners, the Motion Picture and Television Fund is a nonprofit charitable organization that supports working and retired members of the entertainment community. This wonderfully run organization offers assistance for living and aging with dignity and purpose in the areas of health and social services, including temporary financial assistance, case management, and residential living, and has been a crucial lifeline to thousands during and beyond critical times that our industry continues to experience. To learn more, visit mptf.com. Please join me in helping others in our industry during times of need. There are so many ways to offer support and get involved. Thank you. We're back with the legendary and iconic R.J. Wagner. By the way, I want to say it's R.J. Wagner. And when I had heard you and try to be cool before I knew you, I would say R.J. Wagner. And it's not R.J. Who put the emphasis on the R.J.? Is that you or someone from the studio?
I was a junior.
Oh, Robert Jr. I see, R.J.
I wanted to be billed as R.J. Wagner. And there was a man at the studio at 20th Century Fox who said, there's one other person who has initials, and that's K.T. Stevens. And she's not working, and you are. So that was it.
K.T. Stevens?
Yeah.
That's great. I want to talk about some of the women that you work with. Bette Davis, very influential to you, huh?
Oh, yeah. She was great. I loved her. And I produced a movie.
What was it?
Madam Sin. And she was great in it. And I loved her very much.
What made you go into producing?
Well, I was doing the television show, and
this was To Take a Thief?
Yeah, well, both
Did you
of them.
produce your television show?
No, but usually you had a great deal to do with it. The people that were involved had a great deal to do with what the material was and who was in it and all of that. But she was fabulous. I really loved her a lot. You know, she said a very nice thing about me, which wound up in the New York Times, about my work in It Takes a Thief. And it was at the time that she was not working. And so I called her and I said, Betty, it was wonderful what you said about me, and wound up in the Times. I said, would you like to do the show? Because she liked the show very much. And I said, would you like to do this? She said, yes. So we wrote a character for her called Bessie Crindle. And she came out to Los Angeles and did this character for us. And she was great. And from that, she rolled into doing the shows on stage across the country.
I'd love to, RJ. I'd love to do Bessie Crindle, whatever.
That's a good impersonation.
Well, I watched her on all those talk shows. Wasn't she the best?
Oh, yeah.
She would just, unfiltered, what she would say.
Yeah,
It's like she didn't give a damn. She just said it like it was. Was that her real personality?
Yes, it was.
Damn.
That is. I was just going to say that was her real personality. Who else do you do besides Bette Davis?
I do Carol Channing. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Let me ask you this. How about Barbara Stanwyck? I remember saying to you once, didn't you sleep with Barbara Stanwyck? And you said to me, I had a relationship with Barbara Stanwyck. And I thought that was very classy. Tell us about that.
Well, she was such a special person. And I was with her for about 3 years. And She was absolutely a marvelous lady.
A great actress, too.
Yeah. Well,
Never won an Academy Award. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, she was nominated, I think, 5 times.
Something like that.
Yeah.
One of those odd people who snuck by, like Cary Grant. You know what I mean? Who never got the Oscar. I think they probably got honorary Oscars, both of them. They did.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them did, yeah.
But I just thought that she was such an important contributor to the film business, to important movies.
Yeah. Early on, too, you know.
Totally. You've worked with so many directors. Your favorite director was or is?
I liked very much working with Ron Shelton.
Ron's a marvelous director, and quite a compliment to Ron because you've worked with so many of the greats who taught you probably a tremendous amount.
Henry Hathaway, John Ford.
John Ford, there's an interesting story there.
Oh, yes. Well, John Ford knocked me flat on the ground.
Not your favorite man.
No, he didn't turn out to be my favorite. He could be very rough.
He looked like a real curmudgeon. But tell me about Ford and how he treated you, quite frankly.
Well, he always had somebody that he picked on a movie. There was always somebody in the barrel. And I was the guy on that show. I was with Dan Daly and Bill Demarest and Jimmy Cagney.
Did they protect you, or?
Yeah, they did. I would have won the Academy Award if they put the camera on me when he knocked me down. I was so surprised. Here I was in this movie, and he was the #1 director. He was a marvelous director, as you well know. And suddenly I'm on the ground, and he's knocked me down.
He literally knocked you down?
Oh, yeah.
Punched you?
Yeah.
What was the reason?
We used to have music on the stage all the time. And it said in the script that I react to the music. So I looked over to where the music was playing. And he said, cut. He said, what are you doing? I said, well, it says that I'm supposed to listen to the music. He said, no, you don't do that. And I said, okay, Mr. Ford. And then he turned, and I turned, and he whacked me.
Can you imagine that happening today? He would never work again. The cancel culture.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, man.
But it sure woke me up.
I mean, how do you get back into your character after that and act? Seriously, like, how do you get back into, like, I'd be just forget.
Well, I was a little bit shaken up, but Jimmy was very nice to me. He said, don't worry, kid. Just take it easy.
I've heard John Wayne did the same with other people who've had run-ins with Mr. Ford.
Actually, I was in another sequence, and I saw him pick up a rock. I was in a trench, and he was going to throw it at me. And I got up and moved, and I started to go after him. And John Wayne stopped me, put his arm around me, and says, just take it easy, kid, take it easy.
You would have beat the shit out of him at that point.
Well, I was a little hot, as you can imagine.
Absolutely.
And I was young.
Yeah, but that was a really unfair power situation. I find something very interesting. So what we're living through right now is the end of a, 45-year era, the modern blockbuster era that began in, let's say, the late 70s. For decades, the theatrical model was essentially stable. There was no streaming, no digital disruption, no competing platform fundamentally changing audience behavior. Today, that stability is gone. I mean, streaming, technology, shifting habits have completely redefined how audiences now consume movies. Kind of reminds me of the collapse of the old studio system, when an entire structure that once felt permanent suddenly wasn't. And you experienced a version of that shift firsthand. What was that like for you when it became clear that the era you had thrived in was ending? What did you think you were going to do?
A lot of the business moved to Europe.
Tell me about that. That was sort of the genesis, right, of the independent film movement, and a large part of it took place in Europe, correct?
Yeah, and also a lot of the stars went there. I went there and moved to Rome. That's when I did the Panther.
But you were no longer with the studio?
No, Buddy Adler came in and they just dropped everybody.
That's what I mean. But what was it like when you heard the news that they were dropping you?
Well, there's always something.
You mean you didn't think you weren't going to work?
No, I thought I'd probably be able to get some work somewhere.
Very cool. I didn't know that. I thought most people would be like, I have a certain lifestyle. I'm making a salary. What the hell am I going to do?
Well, I think that's true. I think that happened with a lot of people. I was single at the time. Natalie and I had divorced. And
you said, why not? Let me go to Europe.
yeah, what's next?
And you started working quite a bit.
Yes, I did. I worked with Sophia and Vittorio De Sica, and that was just great. I mean, it was a wonderful opportunity. And Blake with the Panther, which is my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We
I
had such a
didn't
great
know that.
Yeah.
Why was it your favorite movie?
Oh, we all had such a great time. Sellers, see him create that character, and he and Blake together create Clouseau.
You were wonderful in that.
Oh, thank you very much.
You meet Marion there?
No, Marion was under contract to Fox when I first was there. I knew Marion a long time before that.
Did she come to Europe with you, or how did that work?
Well, she was married to Stanley Donen, and they had divorced, and she moved to Europe.
Got it. And she ended up in Rome?
And she was in Rome, yeah.
I see.
I always liked Marion. She was always terrific. We both had the same haircuts.
And of course, you guys produced the best of all, which was Caddy.
Yeah, we produced Caddy.
Your beautiful
marvelous
Caddy, who I didn't know was named after Katharine Hepburn.
Yes.
Katharine.
Yeah.
And you then get the call essentially from Lew Wasserman saying, you should really consider this television thing.
Yes, that's when I moved into television, and that became a hit. So,
you almost became more famous in television than you were in movies.
Yes, I think so. Well, television was starting off then, and it was big time.
And you produced, and so it really was a strong part of your legacy. I do want to ask you about this whole notion of celebrity, because today you have Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, Kendall Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and there was you and Natalie Wood. You were in the thick of that paparazzi. What was the head trip like of you guys going out?
Well, I was in Rome when the paparazzi first started.
The term paparazzi.
Yeah, and the Veneto and all of that. And Richard and Elizabeth were the hot thing then, you know.
Richard and Elizabeth, of course.
Yeah.
They were. But you weren't far behind, though, right?
Yeah, I got a little action about all of that.
But could you and Natalie go out?
Yeah, we go out. We didn't have much problem. We'd go out to restaurants, and cameramen would be outside, and they were very nice. We knew a lot of them, and they took pictures of us and asked us questions, and we said, great. And got in the car and went home.
You were, and I know you are, the most extraordinary father, because we know the kids. After Natalie passed, you essentially had all the kids come together, including Stanley Donen's kids, Josh and Peter Donen, the late Peter Donen. Josh, as we know, was a great agent and became a terrific producer. But also Natasha Gregson-Wagner, I knew her father peripherally, but Gareth Wiggin I knew.
Yeah.
She's a delight. And of course, the beautiful Courtney, who was at our place the other night. So the three girls and Josh and Peter, it was like the Brady Bunch that you did this. And didn't you have a marvelous woman called Willie Mae?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Wasn't she like a mom?
Yeah, she really was. And she was part of our family. Well, she lived with us, you know, for years. I mean.
You have a great story about Mark Harmon when he first got to Hollywood. And you lived, I believe, in the flats of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And Mark Harmon was a starving actor. This says so much about you, RJ. Mark Harmon, if I'm getting it right, sent a letter out to put in people's mailboxes.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a guest house or a place that I could rent or live while I'm struggling to be an actor?
That's right.
One person responded to him, and that was you. What'd you say to him?
Said I would love to have him be there, but it was filled.
But my God, who effing does that? I'll tell you who does it, folks. RJ. You know, Neil and I are blessed to have so many wonderful friends in the business. And you embody one of the qualities that we regard like the highest, and that is you're such a good listener. You genuinely care about what we're doing. I know you and Neil probably talk 3 or 4 times a week. I listen to many of those conversations, but I am just struck by the fact that you still have insatiable curiosity and deep compassion.
Oh, Kevin, thank you. Thank you very much. Easy to do with you. And congratulations on your book and how it's sold.
Oh, my God.
How to Score in Hollywood. I mean, how you've had a great response to that, and I'm so proud of it.
Thank you so much. I'm really thrilled. You know what it's like. It takes so long to write these goddamn books. It's so difficult. And then you have great distribution from these wonderful publishers, Simon & Schuster, second to none. But the marketing is where you have to really get out there and promote the hell out of it.
Well, you've done that.
I'm trying.
It's well worth it.
Thank you so much. So appreciate that. Do you feel as though there's something you want people to say about you at this point in your life?
That's a good question. I've been so fortunate to be able to do what you want to do in life. And
never veer from it.
No, and it's been good to me. I've been successful in it, and I'm just a very lucky and fortunate man. I mean, I got my kids and my wife, and I thought I was finished when I lost Natalie, and I came back from that through my children and through Jill and through you and Neil, and it makes a big difference.
I told RJ, I've made people cry on my program, and now he's fucking making me cry. All right, I got to ask you about Jill, because Jill and I joke that we're like brother and sister from another mother.
I know.
Okay, she is one of the smartest women I have ever met. She and I do the New York Times crossword puzzle every day. She did the Sunday in 38 minutes this last week. And I know I'm not the first person to call her such a brilliant woman. Henry Kissinger called her one of the smartest people he's ever met.
She's very, very bright.
What do you love about Jill so much?
All the things that you said. She's got a great sense of humor, and she is bright.
I thought you were going to say she has great emeralds. Let's face it, her taste in the finer things in life is pretty extraordinary. She sources food. She's a major chef. She studied cooking in France. She knows style and loves her beautiful jewelry. I love that about her. She and I can talk for hours about that.
Well, I want to tell you, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her.
Oh.
Because she really held me up when she came into my life. I met her when she was 16 years old.
I know. Tell me about that.
She was under contract to Fox. But
you didn't know her?
No, I didn't know her. I just met her then. And then as the years went on, we did a couple of films together. And she was in Heart to Heart, the pilot. And our paths crossed, but we were never involved romantically at all. I was married at that time, and she had several cars parked in her driveway. And I always...
Very polite way of saying that. She's going to get a kick out of that when she hears this.
Yeah. She's heard it. She doesn't like it too much. But it's true.
I think we're good. I mean, we just gave Jill so many compliments and thrust so much love upon her.
She's a wonderful woman. She's been so great to me.
The other person who people think you were married to, who people think was a romance of yours, was Stefanie Powers.
Oh, Stefanie, yeah. A lot of people think that we were married.
Isn't that funny? Neil the other night said to me, you're interviewing RJ because of me. I brought RJ into our lives.
Yes.
And I said, Stefanie is in our lives because of me. Because she did my first movie for Lifetime called Someone Is Watching with Margot Kidder. And that was, 30 years ago or something like almost 30 years ago. But what I find so funny is we knew Stefanie and traveled the world with Stefanie, and she became one of our best friends. And then you come into our lives, not through Stefanie. And yet the association between R.J. Wagner and Stefanie Powers is so great.
She's amazing.
Smart as a whip, huh? Another one. Speaks 5 languages.
Yeah, but she's a marvelous, marvelous person. Great sense of humor.
great actress.
Yeah, and I wanted her to be Jennifer Hart, and so did Tom Mankiewicz. I'd worked with her before when I did Thief, and I always liked her, and I thought the chemistry with us would be terrific. I just felt it.
I love that, because what Helena Sorrell did to you is what you did for the brass to get Stefanie that part.
Yeah, I did. I did that, and so did Tom Mankiewicz. We wanted her, and that was it. They wanted Natalie and I to do it together. They wanted me to do it with a couple of other ladies, and I just always thought that Stefanie was the girl. I knew it from the beginning, and I thought, she was wonderful in the show. Just great.
So great. And the two of you, and of course, call out to the wonderful Lionel Stander.
Oh, yes. Well, Lionel, he was the glue.
He was the glue, but he was also, again, you, Mr. RJ, believed in him after the blacklist.
Oh, yes, very much so.
Well, not everyone did.
No, they didn't.
He was on the blacklist.
Yeah, he was.
During McCarthyism.
Yes, he was.
One of the great stains of our business.
Yes, one of the biggest.
And he became one of your dear, dear friends.
Yes, he did. And his daughter is my friend, too.
And so is his wife,
Yeah.
Stefana, who now is married to Frank.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, listeners. We are too much in the weeds here, but I have to tell you, we all love each other. Jen Stander's amazing. And Jill just told me last night, which I didn't know, that you named all of your dogs after celebrities.
Uh-huh.
And right now you've got Duke.
Yeah.
But you had Larry.
Larry, yeah.
Olivier.
Olivier.
But also you had Max. And I said, well, why didn't you call the dog Lionel? And Jill said, because they're from Germany, the dogs, the German Shepherds, and they have to have a name that sounds kind of like the German name.
Yeah, that's true.
That's great. RJ, we can talk forever, but I want to be respectful of your time.
You've been so nice to me, and I really appreciate it so
I love
much.
you so much.
I love you, too. You mean the world to me.
Thank you. To our listeners, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. For more insights into filmmaking, audience testing, and the business of Hollywood, I invite you to check out my books, Audienceology and How to Score in Hollywood, at Amazon or through my website at kevingetz360.com. You can also follow me on my social media. Next time on Don't Kill the Messenger, I'll welcome director, writer, producer, and former stuntman, Rick Roman Waugh. Until next time, I'm Kevin Goetz, and to you, our listeners, I appreciate you being part of the movie-making process. Your opinions matter.